What's up guys, welcome to Wasted Space, and we're back in Space Engineers, back in my full world, to play around a little bit more with that subway train concept. And the thinking here was, I'm about to restart this world. It's got massive, it's full of all sorts of random stuff, and it's kind of what I did when I started. So there's a lot of stuff that I'd change now, a lot of bits that I'd do differently, and I've had some really cool suggestions from people as to how I could do some stuff differently. For example, this subway system, there's been all sorts of cool suggestions. So, as a last sort of thing I did before I left this world behind, I thought I'd do a little bit of testing of what I'm going to do in the new one. And what we have here is kind of a test and at the same time something a bit fun, just because you might as well. So this was a little bit of a test to see how robust that piston setup is. And we're again using a very similar, turn my dampers on, using a very similar piston setup to the previous subway trains and the cable car, although this one has been designed to run on only these 4 rails, so it's really quite trim. And I think you'd struggle to make one any smaller than that also, if I'm honest. So that was the sort of basic concept, and then I wanted to weigh the thing down. So I wanted to put loads and loads and loads of weight on it to see whether or not that would be something that it would handle, and whether or not there'd be any problems with it moving, any problems with those wheels and that piston setup being robust. And, well, as you can see, the answer is no, because what I decided to do with this one was turn it into a kind of, I don't know, mobile defense carriage almost. This is obviously a mix of small and large blocks this time. So the outside layer and the cart itself is a small ship, because it needs to be to get those small pistons. Obviously, if you would try and use the big pistons for this, you'd need something enormous. But then, because I've left the top and the bottom open, I've been able to put large ship landing feet tucked in here. And on top of that is built the turrets, which are also connected up to a conveyor system, so it can be easily rearmed, should you wish to, by pulling up stopping it and pulling up a ship to reload on it. So you just pull up a ship with a connector on, feed in the ammunition for your rocket launchers, and then pull away again. And the entire thing is also remote control. So unlike the previous versions where they tended to have a cockpit on them, this one is designed, if you need to be able to be moved into position via remote control and from the main base itself. And as you can see in front of us here, there's actually a camera on both ends so that you have an opportunity to stop it where you fancy. So it was kind of a little concept. I'm not sure how practical it will be, because obviously, while itself is very heavily armoured, if those rails get destroyed, what happens next? So I don't think I'll be following this one through as a defensive concept in the new world, but it was certainly something interesting to see quite how tough that suspension setup is, and quite how much weight and pressure those can take. I obviously have now deleted the cockpit off of this, but let's just jump back in here, find my cockpit in the list. There we are. If I stick this on the front, you can see this is 364 tons. So it is really quite heavy for a small ship, because it's covered in heavy armour, and because of course it's actually got quite a lot of large ship components on them as well, and those are really heavy for small ship parts. So that's the sort of general gist of that. It can be stopped where you wish, as I said, via remote control. But other than that, it is designed to be sort of a large small ship combo as a preparation for what I'm hoping to do with my next world, which will contain probably both quite a complex security system using these rails, although an internal security system, not an external one, so a system whereby the rails themselves are not in danger. But it will also contain a infinitely more complex version of this subway system. So I'm intending on having full multiple station selection with automatic stopping at all the stations, with corners, with multiple floors, and potentially with multiple lines, with sort of joining stations where you can change around. Because honestly, I just want to build myself a really big train set. Space Engineers train set. I might even make it remote control, so you can sit up in a observation place somewhere and control your trains from afar. No purpose, but might just be a little bit fun. And the other thing I thought I'd show you quickly, because I've also been sort of thinking about defensive concepts, as you can guess from that one, is this rather ridiculous little thing. As you can probably guess, I've got a spherical gravity generator in the middle of that asteroid, designed as such so that you're not going to be able to get at this gravity generator very easily to destroy it. And equally, I think hitting that thing as it spazzes around in circles like it does is going to be really quite tricky. And all I did there was, I don't think you'll ever be able to do this properly in survival unless you do some really strange thing with merge blocks. But yeah, if you get a copy of it and fling it past with a bit of speed, they start rotating like that, and they rotate surprisingly stably. Let's see if I can launch another one that works. No, is the answer. I need to go quite a bit faster than that. But yeah, just some random little thoughts on what you could do regarding some defensive, sort of different methods of defending yourself, and that's going to be the theme and the trend of the next couple of videos. Instead of thinking purely offensive like I have been, building big ore cannons, building big rockets, we're going to be looking at it from a defensive perspective. So the other benefit of that little asteroid thing there, of not only does it have obviously a turret flinging around it that's going to be very difficult to hit, but it'll also provides quite a large gravity field around here. So you shoot an ore gun past that, don't expect it to hit where you're shooting. And I think that'll also be a little bit of a theme. What can we do inside asteroids, on asteroids, to create ourselves like a little defensive network? Swarms of drones, swarms of mines, turrets, relays like I have here, because the future project and what's coming up soon, although this is going to take a few weeks to actually finish, I think, because this is going to be a relatively big video and a big look at real life PvP scenarios. So a couple of friends of mine have been working completely outside of my knowledge. I haven't been over and had a look. All I know is the names you can see there, and have been working on some ships, something in that direction. And in the sort of coming weeks, the goal will be for us to set up essentially a semi-test but full PvP encounter with players on both sides, multiple ships, player-made weapons, in-game weapons, including the new sniper rifle, which is very cool, although I am not going to do a video on that because it's something that I think everyone's now aware of. If you're not aware of it, Keen have released a sniper rifle mod. The Keen Software House themselves released this as part of the demonstration of the weapon modding system that they've released recently, and it allows you to put a reloadable sniper rifle with 2 different ammo into the game, and it's pretty cool to play with. It's got an amazing recoil effect on it. So that's kind of the gist of things for today. I thought I'd just talk to you a little bit about what I've got coming up, what I'm working on, talk about the fact that I'm about to ditch this world that anyone who's been following me for a little while will be very familiar with, and very familiar with some of the creations in it. We're going to start with a clean slate, and we're going to start with a clean slate and may well include mods. Some people have mentioned some really cool stuff already that I might well try out, and just from a visual perspective, the mods are starting to come really cool, so there might be a bit of that coming too. So that's kind of what's coming up in the future for Space Engineers on the channel. I am also going to be starting expanding the space coverage, so I've played quite a bit of things like Kerbal, Elite, that sort of game in the past, so you can expect more of that coming on the channel too. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Not the most interesting of ideas this time around, just something a little bit quick, and as I said, fill you in on what's going on in the future on the channel and what I plan to do Space Engineers wise. So cheers, guys. If you like the video, please hit that like button, please hit the subscribe. It's really helping me out, and I'm loving the support I'm getting. Really, really nice. Thanks a lot. It's so good. And I will catch you guys next time.